Hi, Brian Smith with AARP Maryland. I'm here today with Congressman Brown, who represents my district in the U.S. Congress, and it's an honor to finally meet you, sir. After voting for you, never seeing you all these years, now I get to put the name in the face.
Well, Brian, it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I want to thank you for your service to our country in uniform, and now what you're doing to support our seniors in Maryland.
It's a really important thing, and we appreciate the support that we get from the Congress as well. I was wondering, what do you see coming up affecting Maryland's 50-plus population in the upcoming session of Congress?
Well, probably one of the biggest bills that we have coming up, and that's from Representative Larson out of Connecticut, is to enhance, improve, strengthen Social Security. I am a primary co-sponsor, an initial co-sponsor. In fact, I believe we filed the bill yesterday on January 31st, and we're basically looking at not only how do we ensure that we're paying our current annuitants, but that you've got solvency in Social Security to pay future generations. So we are going to look at asking wealthier Americans to do more. We are going to change the various indexes that are used to keep up with the rate of inflation that impacts our seniors. And we're also going to look at the benefits to those seniors who, for either their lifetime or for a large part of their life, have been in the lower income bracket, who will be relying more on Social Security than others, and making the adjustments so that Social Security works for them. So I think that's going to be the biggest bill. It was filed yesterday, and I'm really excited about getting that thing moved.
That's great. There's one issue that affects active duty and affects veterans, and it's probably the one that keeps me up at night worrying about it. Active duty suicides are at the highest rate in 6 years. 22 or more veterans a day kill themselves. Up to 100 Marylanders kill themselves each year. What's it going to take to really have an integrated campaign plan to address this scourge?
Sure. And Brian, I just recently spoke to the Secretary of the Army, Esper, and we were talking about that very issue. Because, we know that among veterans who've taken off their uniform, we have a high suicide rate. We have a high suicide rate among currently serving members of the military. And a lot of it has to do with sort of resiliency. And what we mean by that is supporting the individual, because it's a stressful environment, but often it's sort of like the non-military stressors that are contributing to the higher suicide rates, like personal challenges at home, financial stressors. So according to Secretary Esper, and he'll be supported by Congress, looking at ways to really just support soldiers in their personal resiliency. So whether that's financial literacy classes, whether it also includes screening and recruiting members of the armed forces who are more resilient. I mean, that's a big part of it as well. So you need physical fitness, you need mental, emotional, psychological resilience, but let's face it, all of us are under pressure at all times. So it's important that we support individual soldiers as they go through stressful times in their life.
Okay. That's great. I noticed that the Department of Suicide, or the Office of Suicide Prevention at the Department of Veterans Affairs, is looking at a new partnering initiative with states. In fact, they're going to be rolling that out with 7 states, but Maryland's not one of them. So can you go get us some of that?
Well, absolutely. Let me tell you, Brian, when I was Maryland's Lieutenant Governor, we were very active in reaching out to partner with the federal government, Department of Veterans Affairs, the Department of Defense, working with our local and our community-based partners to find every opportunity to support veterans. So I'll certainly talk to our state delegation and make sure that Maryland Department of Veterans Affairs and the other appropriate officials are continuing to forge strong partnerships with the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. We are investing in our veterans. The Department of Veterans Affairs, they have some challenges in improving their efficiencies, the way that they deliver benefits and services, health care, et cetera, to our veterans. But as a member of Congress, I'm going to make sure that we are funding those programs adequately, and I'll ensure that we're working with the state of Maryland so that Maryland is taking advantage of every benefit that we're offering our veterans.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time today, Congressman Brown. Have a safe trip back to PG County. The snow is piling up, I
Yes,
hear.
indeed. Great. Thanks, Brian.
Yes, sir.